I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a very long time, and that is release some of my music. It's been so long that I now have a hour and 45 minutes worth of completely recorded music that I haven't released. That's two entire albums worth. Why is that? Well, because of this YouTube channel. See, up to this point, I've been releasing music, and then what would happen is it would filter out through friends and family and then immediately come up against this brick wall of obscurity, which I think is something that most artists face, is how do you get out into the greater world beyond the people that you know? And YouTube has been one of the methods that people use. And I've had a bit of a success there. 18 of the coolest people have subscribed to my channel, and at times as many as 60 people have actually watched me blathering around about whatever the hell's on my mind. The thing is that I found that getting YouTube up to really significant numbers, and I mean, even a few hundred people, because that's definitely, you're reaching beyond friends and family at that point, is quite difficult. And some of these bigger channels that have thousands of people, this has taken decades to establish that level. So at 60 years old, me waiting around for that happen before I let any of my music out, I'll have 50 albums of material before that happens. There's also kind of another pressure that's come up with the turmoil the world's in, the political unrest, the pandemic going on. It just doesn't seem like the kind of stable period we're waiting is a good way to hedge your bet on getting somewhere in life. It's like, if I drop dead of the pandemic, I mean, what's going to happen in the long run? Somebody's going to find my really outdated computer and go like, look at this old piece of trash, and throw it in a trash can, and then all this work is just going to disappear off the face of the earth. So I think at this point, let's just start throwing crap out there and see what response it gets. Now, I want to talk about art in the bigger world, because there's a bunch of different perspectives one could have on that. And one is simply doing art because you love doing art. And I think most of the things you do in life that you do because you want to, unlike things that you have to do, you do because in the moment it's a desirable thing to have happen. So maybe I'm being a little bit obtuse here, but let's make an example of going skiing. And I got this picture. Let me grab it. So here we go. I skied down here, right here, right down through there. This is the Colorado Rockies, about 12,000 feet up. And the thing was, I skied down there. I got to the bottom, and I looked up at my tracks, and I went, wow. And it was a fun, epic day. And then I went home. The wind probably erased those tracks in no more than a day. And then nothing was left of that experience but my memory of it all. And this is how most of life's events go. And isn't that good enough? Now, I think there's a pressure on art that if you make it, it's like, okay, now you got to go find this great big audience. And it's like, do you really? Or do you just go like I did that day skiing, where you go, boy, that was fun, have the memory and move on. Now, keep in mind, even skiing isn't necessarily that experience all the time. There are professional skiers where the whole point is to capture it on film, put a soundtrack behind it, have thousands of people go watch it, everybody gets psyched up to go skiing next season, and therefore promote the ski industry, and then people make a living and they can go do it again. So even a sport like that has that element to it. So getting back to music, there always should be that element that whatever you're doing because you just enjoy doing it. And that's very important when your music does get out in the greater world, if it ever does, because if you don't love what you're doing, how is anybody else going to? I mean, if fundamentally the creator isn't going, this is a labor of love, how is that going to move any other individual? And I think there's a terrible trap to go like, good music is what other people do. So I'll try to sound like other people and then I'll get somewhere. When instead you just end up being an imitation, which is a subject that I've already ranted about in another video. But I think there's a better reason to expose your what you do artistically to the greater world after you've drawn the satisfaction of the creation itself. And that is that if you really love it, then you could share what you love and what you do with other people. Now, I realize that writing extended kind of prog rocky pieces might not, well, will certainly cut me off from great portions of the community. But that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be other people that think the same as I do who really enjoy this stuff potentially. Um, and so it's up to me to go find them somehow. And then um, they can have that experience too. Because right now, they don't know I exist. And that is the point behind the YouTube channel, is seeming if I can take, my stick out in the world and go, hello, hello out there. Anybody else like what I'm doing? So I put out some music, and I certainly hope you like it. You're not under an obligation, especially friends and family, because you can have different musical opinions than mine. But if you do like it, if you can spread it on to somebody else, that would be great. On the other end, if you absolutely hate it, find somebody you don't like and send it off to them so that they can not like it too. Because in an Oscar Wilde kind of way, that does kind of promote the cause in its peculiar way. Now, I said that in a very mumbly bumbly kind of way, but I think you get my point. Anyway, the link to my song on Bandcamp will be down below, so you'll have to go poke around and go look for it. But give it a listen, and I will catch you later. Bye.